So let's start with the numbers. The last U.S. job report is a major reality check. After months of growth, the economy shed 92,000 jobs. And here's what they're saying is behind. First, global tension. High oil prices are squeezing business budgets. The AI shift. Companies are increasingly using AI to handle tasks, leading to a hiring freeze for many traditional roles. As a matter of fact, the last recent number shows that 80% of businesses in 2005 have transitioned to some form of AI. And then on top of that is the federal dilemma. Interest rates remain high, making it harder for small businesses to grow. On a more local level, AI predictive indicators suggest that displacement is accelerating in West Tampa. Projections estimate that 14 to 17% of residents could be displaced in 3 years, with a potential to surpass 20% in the worst case scenario. That is, if nothing is done. This growing crisis severely threatens neighborhood stability. The solution or our response is the Technology Wealth Building and Job Creation Center. The center empowers underserved residents, including low-income individuals, returning citizens, seniors, people with disabilities, at-risk youth, and those that want to increase their skill sets to earn living wages. This program then focus them on how to earn income, launch businesses, and strive in the digital economy through programs like our home-based business and e-commerce, AI Creation Center, Web3, and our Investment 103. That being said, let's jump into what is the center, what is the Technology Wealth Building and Job Creation Center? Well, first of all, it's a community anchor intervention hub. It's built to increase income, skills, and ownership and wealth. It's designed for West Tampa future and stability. Okay, let's talk about the four components. Oh, actually, the five components. The first component is technology access, making computers, the internet, and digital tools available at least all of the low income. AI workforce training, creating pathways and skills for the AI economy. We've identified over 65 different AI-like jobs that can be created specifically for low-income individuals or individuals that have at least a ninth grade education. Entrepreneur support, home-based and small business development. We're going to talk some more about that. But what you should know right now is that the fastest growing economy or industry is home based and e-commerce because of the low startup. And then next is the financial empowerment, investment education, and money management. That is moving from a consumer to an investor. And finally, the third part of this is Web3 digital ownership. That is capital access, digital identity, and decentralized financing. This is important because a lot of the so-called unbankable that live in poor communities could not access capital. This changes the whole thing and create a different paradigm for the social economic activities. So, facts. African Americans spend over $1.9 trillion in 2025. Of that, 250 billion was spent on non non-essential items. That's why this portion of the wealth building workshop is so important. It talks about moving consumers to investors, including teaching residents to own assets and not just use technology, building equity and digital participation for all. Web3 training, that is, digital identity, microloans, and decentralized financing. We're going to talk some more about this and real pathways to generational wealth creation. So let's talk about the AI workforce and business opportunities. I stated earlier that there's over 70 different AI jobs that could be filled by low income individuals. So let's start with the first box, saying fast entry roles. Those jobs include content assistants and writers, consumer service agents, and data reviews. And that's the sum of the job that can be created for AI. That's over 70 other different jobs. It increases the playing field. Now an individual with less than an eighth grade education can really earn money for a living wages. Next is no code and automation. That is, you learn that you don't need code to create applications. Also, we talk about how AI prompt engineering. How do you do that? Home-based businesses is another part of this segment. It deals with AI power e-commerce, home-based businesses, digital production creation, social media, and content brands. Home-based businesses, as I mentioned earlier, and e-commerce is the fastest growing industry in the United States. But one thing, you can do it at home, a lot of these jobs. And secondly, it's a low cost to start up. And then finally, scale and income. This focus on low startup cost models, global reach from your home, and stable recurring income. So let's now dive into the Web 3 and how the Web3 removes long-standing financial barriers for our community, especially low-income neighborhoods. Traditionally, banks and other financial institutions, when it comes to low-income individuals who want to start that business, will block from getting capital. That changes with the Web3. Let's talk about the four different parts of the Web3. Digital wallets, banking access for the unbanked, and the unbanked. The banking assets for the unbanked and the underbanked. Microloans and DeFi, decentralized financing tools, and peer lending. Digital ownership. Own and monetize your creative and digital work. And finally, burial removal. Bypass traditional gatekeepers and inequities. Real tools, real ownership, and real wealth. Impact. This project came about as a result of a agreement between the public and the private sector. It came about through what's known as the Community Benefit Agreement. Part of the Rome Yard project required a community benefit agreement, and that a benefit agreement was put into place to offset the potential displacement that occurs with any redevelopment or development. That brought about the Technology, Wealth Building, and Job Creation Center. That means that when it's built, the Rome Yard project, it will include our office and our office, our partner's office, as well as a training room and uh, other add-ons. So it is a community collaborative space for skills, community creation, and wealth. And it shows that long-term residents grow with the neighborhoods. It's more than a training room, it's a launch pad for generational wealth. Again, this is secured during the Rome Yard Benefit Agreement. We consistently argue the fact that you can reduce the impact of displacement if you plan smartly to make sure that no one is left behind because of income. So some of the particulars in the project is our core theory of change. And our theory of change believe that comprehensive technology training, web education, blockchain business development support these two participants will achieve significant income increases, build digital wealth, and increase community control economic assets. We create community owned digital entrepreneurs enterprises generating cryptocurrencies and NFT revenues. And this is among some of the things that's coming out of our theory of change. But what are the key assumptions that's coming out of this? First, all tools like GPT can be mastered by anyone with basic computer literacy, a ninth grader, a senior citizen. Web3 opportunity, blockchain technologies create new income streams for underserved communities. Market demand, market demand, growing demand for artificial integration and Web3 services in the Tampa Bay area. Expected outcome, individual level, 200% average income increase within 18 months of a person taking this program. Again, it's focused on low income individuals. Community level, community owned digital assets generating ongoing revenue. And some of the things that's coming out of Web3 initiative. Our logic model. Well, some of the most important things about the logic model is that it will share AI tools. It would some of the inputs that's coming into the larger model is that we'll be using ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, as well as um, as well as Copilot, and it's going to be a volunteer network of students, seniors, and retirees. The logic model gives you the breakdown of how we get to A to how we get to B. Some of the outputs that's coming out of that is 30 residence-owned businesses, 80 new AI integrated jobs, and over 300 residents trained in some aspect of technology within 5 years. Empowering West Tampa through innovation in a nutshell. Moving residents or moving consumers to investors. 30 plus resident owned jobs for the next 5 years. The greater majority will be home based e commerce jobs. 80 low income focused AI powered jobs within the next 5 years. Let me say it again, low income jobs created. And these jobs will be at living wages. And then investment education, how to move from a consumer to an investor. Community led, tech driven, and future focused. This whole concept was created years ago, and it goes to the West Tampa spirit. This idea was born out of the community with no money, no office, and no staff. It was driven by belief, discipline, and collective strength. This is a model for community-led innovations across the country. For more information, please contact us at westtampacdc@gmail.com. I'm sorry for that mark between West Tampa and the CDC. That shouldn't. It should be westtampacdc@gmail.com. What is so impressive about this initiative is not only does it take us into the next generation of thinking with a new school attitude, but it also goes to show that when the community come together, even with no money, but with a plan, what can be the end product of that? This is truly a community-led innovation model specifically for those communities, poor communities throughout the United States, that what can happen even without money, as long as the spirit and the commitment is there.